Hey y'all, Lucas Marsh here, Engineered Wealth Management. I try to make evergreen content for you guys, but it's been a busy couple weeks, so I got the glasses on, and we have World Cup here in Atlanta, so got the soccer kit going. Today we're going to be talking about cash flow management and budgeting. So continuation of last month's video where we really talked about surpluses and shortfalls, the impact of leakage in your financial house. This is the second to last video in our kind of transparent look at what we do in the Marsh household. When we started off talking about monthly meetings, then we spoke about splitting expenses. Then last month we spoke about cash flow, and then now we're talking about how to actually tools for the cash flow, ways to manage that, ways to get deeper insights into those metrics. And then just a little teaser for next month, we're going to be talking about building that foundation out. So once you have that cash flow surplus established, what you should be doing with it. So, like I mentioned last month, we talked about cash flow, surplus, shortfall, the importance of that. All those videos I just talked about are going to be linked down in the description. So, check those out if you haven't already. So, why do we need a tool to manage cash flow? Well, you can't manage what you don't measure. If anyone who's been in a large business, you know that everyone has metrics. You're trying to meet those metrics, trying to meet those targets, because that's what's important to you. So the same thing with these budgeting or spending tools. The goal is to manage it. And even just having that awareness of where your money is going can impact behavior. You know, if you realize you're spending $1,000, $2,000 a month at Amazon, that may trigger y'all to change your behavior. So even if you're not trying to specifically manage any specific line item, just awareness of where some of that cash flow is going or leakage causing a shortfall can help with your behavioral. Like we talked about, the family meeting that we have every month, this is a big part of that. So monthly consistency with the family meeting, with the splitting expenses, and then with the tools to look at your budget and spending. And making sure you be consistent is what is important there. Get that rhythm set up every month for that meeting, the expenses, and then looking at the cash flow. And that's really how you're going to be able to build that strong foundation. I'm going to be looking at a couple tools here. There's not one that's right, really, with any tool or diet or fad. It's which tool is best for you. So, test one out, test a couple out, find which one works best for you, and then stick to that one. Again, consistency is the key here. So there's a couple different options of how to budget or track your spending. There is sort of the rear view mirror look, which is where you take your transactions and categorize them and look at them from the past. So, we're in June right now, so we'd be looking at May's transactions and our June family meeting. Sort of the stronger guardrails there is a zero-based budgeting option. So this is where you're looking ahead and assigning your income to specific categories. So the goal here would be to assign savings or investing or money towards goals before it comes in. That way, when you get your discretionary budget, you know what it is already, and then you have that set aside to spend. So the zero-based budgeting is forward-looking and is a bit stronger guardrails. But really the key here is finding which one best suits your needs. Is it something where y'all are just monitoring and you already have a surplus with your cash flow, or is it something where you may need to be taking some corrective action and have a shortfall? So that that zero-based budgeting would be a stronger fit for y'all. Just looking at number of tools here that are available to you guys. I've used a couple of these over the years, but just sharing them, not recommending or endorsing any of these. So there's a couple of the brokerage houses, Fidelity and Power, have some free tools if you have accounts with them. So this is a good option if you're looking for something basic. Nothing too fancy, but is available for y'all for free. There is Monarch Money and then Quicken Simplify. Those are paid options, but are going to be a little more robust than the free ones that I mentioned. And then the sort of famous, there's a cult following, You Need a Budget, also referred to as YNAB. So I know a number of years ago when I first heard about YNAB, I was like, what are these people talking about? But it is YNAB, You Need a Budget. And YNAB is the zero-based methodology that I talked about before. So that is the forward-looking, where you're assigning dollar values to categories and taking action on those versus just looking retrospectively. We'll not leave out the Google Sheets Excel manual budgeting option. And then there's always the quote unquote back of the envelope, or the envelope option, where you're physically putting money or cash into various envelopes to budget. So a number of these tools are just tools, again, so they're not going to stop you. They're not going to be any true, real guardrails. However, true guardrails do exist out there. And two of the options that I can recommend for you are setting up a separate checking account specifically for your discretionary spend. So, your fixed expenses, which mortgage, car insurance, health insurance, known expenses every month, can come out of a normal checking account, and then you could start putting a separate amount of funding into a separate checking account and only have a debit card tied to that. And so when you hit zero, you can't spend any more for the month. So that's one option for a hard guardrail. The other option is Venmo or Cash App also have debit card options, and you can tie the funds in those apps to the debit card. And similarly, when you spend down that money, then at the end of the month, or even before the end of the month, if you hit zero, you can't spend any more. I know the Venmo and Cash App options are nice because that's such a simple app to use, and a lot of transparency versus potentially logging into your bank account and trying to monitor and move money around with the checking. But either of those options work, just finding the best tool that fits for you. So lastly here, I'm going to, again, being transparent, I'm going to share what we do here. It wouldn't be correct, and my business would not be named Engineered Wealth Management if everything I did was not overly engineered here. So I download and pull out all of our transactions every month, every single one of them. And then in this far left column here, you can see we have the various categories of transactions split out with subcategories in each area, and then the real cost of those categories. So this is sort of the higher level look of the spending here on the left. Then in this middle section is sort of the specific categories added up and compared to, I know in one of the prior videos we talked about the needs, wants, and savings buckets. 50, 30, 20 should be your goal. And so that's how we have that broken out here. These are just sample numbers, by the way. This is not our real budget or budgetary numbers. But you can tell here, I have the month, we have our family contribution, here's the percentage in each, we have wants again, and then savings with our goals. I have separate tabs down here at the bottom where we have expenses from prior years. I have those averages for each month from the prior years presented here, just so we can compare ourselves to how we're doing previously, tracking and trending, which you don't monitor. Which you don't measure, you can't monitor or manage. So here we go, managing multi-years worth of granular data. And then on the far right side here, we do have some basic budgeting goals. You can look at the categories. So merchandise, read Amazon. And then some of the wants here, we have a budgetary monthly number that we try to stick to. Here in that column N, the monthly remaining number, we can adjust the number of months left in the year, how much we spent versus what the goal is, and that gives us an idea of maybe how much we have left in the year. So again, effort of transparency, just sharing this. I don't think that this is probably overly engineered for anyone else, but I got to keep up with the reputation. So appreciate you guys checking out the cash flow, spending, budgeting tools that I shared today. I mentioned the previous videos where we talk transparently about our family processes. That is the monthly family meeting, how we split expenses, the importance of cash flow, and then now this video. I did tease again sort of the final video in that series, at least for now, which is how to build upon. What do you do with your cash flow surplus? And so that's going to be talking about emergency funds and what you should do with some short-term funding in your household. Share a couple options with there. But again, appreciate you guys paying attention. We have a World Cup game we're going to tomorrow. So, USA. I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you. Before we wrap up, a quick note. This content is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not personalized investment, tax, or legal advice. Every person's financial situation is different, and you should consult with your own qualified financial, tax, or legal professional before making decisions based upon what we discussed today. Engineered Wealth Management is a fee-only registered investment advisor. Registration does not imply a certain level of skill or training. If you'd like to learn more about how we work, including our services and fees, you can find our Form ADV and important disclosures on our website. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.